Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 152. The album that I'll be reviewing today is Eric B. Rakim's third album, Let the Rhythm Hit Him, released in 1990. You guys by now should know who they are. I did a review on the first two albums titled Paid in Full, which came out in 87, and Follow the Leader, released in 1988. Alright? Right after Follow the Leader, they had collaborated with an R&B singer her name is Jody Watley, and for those who don't know who she is, she's be part of Shalimar and all that stuff. She's a real popular artist, around the late 80s, early 90s, around the 87, 88, around that time. Well, she made a song called Friends, which was a single that featured Eric B. and Rakim, and that was something pretty interesting too, because I believe that was the first hip hop and R&B song collaboration, as far as a rapper and an R&B singer. If not, that's actually one, or at least one of the first. There might be some, I think one before, I'm not sure, but that's definitely one of the earliest ones. So I just throw that out there. And around that time, everybody know about the Self-Destruction song, by the Heel group or whatever. It's had BDP, Public Enemy, MC Light, and all the dope rappers. I think Chuck Rock was in that shit too, and all that stuff. And there's some controversy towards that because Rakim wasn't, invited to do a verse, and Rakim felt some type of way, and because of that, he felt kind of bitter, and then I think to this, and up to a long time, I think it wasn't until maybe, I want to say the Master album is when he started collaborating with people, because he usually doesn't collaborate with people. I mean, specifically with his albums, but it wasn't until the Master album is when he had collaborations on his album, features on his album. But he rarely collaborates with people, if you notice that about Rakim. And a little off topic, but it's kind of related. LL Cool J was not even on the song either. And I heard it's because the powers to be, cats like Leo Cohen, didn't want LL Cool J to be on a positive song like that, because I guess he didn't want it to tarnish his image, it was just some bullshit. It's kind of fucked up. It kind of shows you that the industry back then was still on some shady shit. And you would think that Rakim being a 5%er, you would think that he would be on a song like Self-Destruction, but I could see why he would feel some type of way. I would too. But anyways, getting back to this album, in 1989 they started recording new material of the album, and it came to this. Came out in 1990. All right. There's 3 singles off the album. The singles are Let the Rhythm Hit Him, In the Ghetto, and Mahogany. All right. The producers on the album, there's a couple, and there's some controversy within the production, and I'll tell you in a minute. It says produced by Eric B. Rakim, but there's producers that were involved in the project, such as Lost Professor, Paul C, and 45 King. All right, those are the producers, and 45 King, Eric B. Rakim. Those are the 4 producers in the album. All right. And when you listen to that album, you can tell that Lost Professor did some of the beats just because of the drum programming and some of the how his style was at that time. You know what I mean? But I'll talk more into that later on within the review. All right. There's no features, thank God. It's just like I mentioned before, he doesn't really collaborate with people. Those are producers, the singles, and you know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the songs. Alright. Track 1 is Let the Rhythm Hit Him, which was the second single of the album. Really love that drum right there. It's one of my favorite Rakim songs. Very slept on. I don't really hear too many people talk about that song. When you hear about Eric B. Rakim, everybody goes for Eric B. is President, Paid in Full, I Ain't No Joke, all the classic songs from the first 2 albums. But I rarely hear people talk about Let the Rhythm Hit Him. And I feel like you should add on to if you had a list of one of his best songs, that song definitely should have been, should be included in that list. Definitely a great way to start the album. It definitely has a high pace style and stuff like that. Kind of reminiscent of Follow the Leader, but a little bit more faster, a lot more aggressive compared to Follow the Leader. And what was crazy about that song is his breath control, man. Just like how you don't hear him take a breath. It's like you don't hear him running out of breath. It's like he just raps, and it just sounds so perfect, man. It's just like the way he lands, his delivery is just so perfect, man. It's just so ill. That's what I like about that dude, man. No Omega, that's the second track. That's a dope, braggadocio track. Just him, talk about how he's the illest on the mic, and just like his wordplay is just ill on that song right there. Track 3, In the Ghetto, pretty dope track. That's his first single off the album. From what I understand, I think Lost Professor did the beat for that. From what I heard, but in the song, he talks about, and there's a video for that. I'll post that down in the description box. It's very different. Compared to the earlier stuff, because the earlier stuff is like more, braggadocio, kind of like the Hustlers type of mind state, like the hustler gangster tracks and stuff like that. But with this song, it's like a different turn for them, where he talks about him growing up in the hood, how hard it is, how life is in the ghetto and it's just about how he thanks his dad for being hard on him, and it's just like just teaching him lessons, like survival tactics on how to survive in the streets, and it's crazy because he's from Wyandanch, and Wyandanch is not a safe neighborhood, man, in Long Island. And I know a lot of people have this ignorance towards Long Island, saying like, oh, Long Island is soft, and because it has houses and stuff like that. Nah, if you go to some parts of Long Island, I wouldn't even go at night. Like, there's a certain parts of Long Island I just wouldn't go. You got Roosevelt, another bad neighborhood. Wyandanch, what they call it, crime dance, Hempstead, Valley Stream, Roosevelt, where Chuck D is from. I mean, there's a whole bunch of hoods, man, in the hood. Gordon Heights, places like that, man, that a lot of people don't really know. Central Islip, where Keith Murray's at, mad places, man, in Long Island, man, that a lot of people don't read. I heard some parts of Amityville is pretty dope. It's pretty bad. I think like North Amityville, I think. I heard some parts over there is pretty bad over there. But I just want to throw that out there. But then there's a line that I like from him where he said, no more props, I want property. In every borough, nobody's stopping me because I'm thorough. Rhymes I make, give me real estate for me to own. I mean, that's really dope right there. I mean, especially for someone to come out like that, especially around 1990, because when you think of 89, 90, 91, a lot of the hip-hop songs was very, party influenced and stuff like that. It's either like very like battle oriented, or it was like parties. It was more party oriented, you know what I mean? Not to say he was the first to do that, but like, cause you like Rakim Shabazz, Chuck, Public Enemy, and people like that. But the way Rakim, like the way he's just so descriptive, and it's the way his clever wordplay. He has clever wordplay, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about Rakim I really like about him. Track 4, Step Back. That's another braggadocio track, pretty dope right there. Track 5, Eric B. Made My Day. If you guys are familiar with Eric B. and Rakim albums, you guys would know that Eric B. always has a solo track on each album. And in this song, it's no different from the other solo tracks where he would be scratching, does the scratches over a beat that they made or whatever. So, nothing, I mean, it's special, obviously. I mean, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just another solo track by Eric B. You know what I mean? Pretty dope. Track 6, Run for Cover. Definitely one of my favorite tracks off the album. Really love the joint of that joint. I really love the energy off that song right there, man. It's just so ill. From what I heard, Paul C did the beat for that, and like you can tell when you listen to Paul C production, early Lost Professor production, you can tell, like, you know, that they made the beat just by the drum programming, the samples that they use, and the scratching and all that. It's just so dope, man. I really like that joint right there. I would say that could have been a single right there. It just has like that high speed chase feel to it. Like, you know, like you know, you watching a movie, or like they having a, you know, they have like in a shootout or something like that. That's the type of song you would play in the background, like in a movie or something like that. And what I got from that joint, like with that song, is like battling him is like being in a gunfight in a shootout. So proceed with caution. I just love how he does that. Where, like, you know, just talking about, he's talking about having a shootout, but without using actual guns, he's using the mic as his weapon, and his lyrics as the bullets and stuff like that. And it kind of reminded me of Ice-T's Mike Contract off his fourth album, the OG Original Gangsta album, which I did a review on. Definitely check that out. So it kind of reminded me of that. So that's what I got from that joint, Run for Cover. Track 7, Untouchables. Another dope joint right there. You know, it's just self-explanatory, just how he's untouchable on the mic. Just love the beat. I just love that beat. I just love the sample that he used. I know that sample too, but just, oh my god, like just the way they flipped it, man, it was so ill right there. I really enjoyed that joint. That's another dope joint. I wish it could have been a single. Track 8, Mahogany. That's the third and final single of the album. It just talks about a girl. It just talks about how he meets a girl in a club. Her name is Mahogany, and he said like, I met a girl named Mahogany. Her twin is named Ebony. Like, I was like, oh shit, because, you know, mahogany is a shade of black or a shade of brown, so, you know, pretty dope right there. There was a line that stood out, and there was a line where he said, let's step out of the club and I'll take you out to go see New York. That's fucking dope right there, because when he said that, it reminded me of the scene in Coming to America with Eddie, Rakim, and Lisa was walking down, you know, New York City and stuff like that. And like when they left after dinner, and there was a scene where Don and Mish and I forgot the other dude's name, I think Jack Lemmon, who were homeless, and you know, he gave them like the bag of money and stuff like that. So when I thought of that, it kind of reminded me of that scene, just them walking around New York, just you know, just walking around, just talking and stuff like that. Just having a pillow talk, if you will, if you know what I'm trying to say. But there's a line where he said, caressing your thoughts till caressing your thoughts till we was thinking the same. Calm your nerves, massage your brain. Each mic is a mineral. Poetry's protein. Verses a vitamin. Effects like codeine. So tell me how you feel, and I'll reveal a pill that'll heal your pain. Cause I'm real. She must have OD'd, cause she couldn't resist. She spoke slowly when she told me this. I mean, who fucking raps like that, man? I mean, not many, man. Like, who thinks, yo, like, just the thought of saying, like, the love, to have a love for him is like being an addict, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy. Like I don't care, like, all you cats that always praise these new rappers, not to say that they're whack, but like that praise them, that like to compare them to some of the veterans, and saying that how even some of them are better than the veterans, which is asinine in my opinion. Like, I'm not gonna name any names because I'm gonna look like a hater, but put that MC towards Rakim to come up with something like that. You're not going to. I don't, not like that. And like I said, that was 1990, man, my dude. Like, that's crazy. All right. Track 9, Keep 'Em Eager to Listen. Pretty dope track right there. You know, it's just about, you know, how to keep people's attention spans, and that's so relatable today because, you know, nowadays, you know, people have so much short attention span, and, you know, because I've heard people tell me that, you know, like, my reviews are long and stuff like that, and I can see that. But the thing is, like, I've mentioned that in the past, where, like, I don't want to be like the average YouTube reviewer that just do, oh, this beat is dope and stuff like that. I like to go in. I like to give you details, because how many like how many reviews you gonna know? I mean, there's a few like me, but how many reviews do you know that goes in detail like that? Not very much. You know, not to toot my own horn, but you know, it is what it is. So that song is definitely relatable. It's just talking about how to keep up with people's attention spans and stuff like that. So, you know, things like that. Track 10, Set 'Em Straight, pretty dope track right there. You know, it's just about how he likes to keep a low profile. Like, he doesn't like to be in the spotlight, you know, things like that. He's just all about his music. And you can tell Rakim is that type of dude. Like, even to this day, he's like that. You don't see him in, like, a whole bunch of interviews or, like, you know, like, at the Academy Awards or anything like that. You don't see him with like that. And then he actually talks about, and it goes back to what I said about, you know, how he doesn't really collab with people because of how they didn't invite him to do a verse on Self-Destruction. Excuse me. And, you know, he felt some type of way that he felt some type of way about that, and you know, that's why like you don't really see him do a lot of collabs. So you felt some type of way, he felt better, and I would feel some type of way like that too. And then you got track 11, the last song, Let the Rhythm Hit Him. This is the 45 King remix, but it's called the 12-inch vocal version remix. And that's a CD version. That was only a CD only track. Alright. Overall, man, definitely one of my favorite Rakim albums, because this album right here is just like, oh my god, like this, I just love how aggressive this album is. It's definitely a step up, you know, compared to the first two albums, because in the first two albums, especially production wise, you can tell that, you know, they were kind of like wet behind the ears as far as production, but they actually stepped their game up as far as the production, the sample choices. The album's a lot more aggressive, it's a lot more darker, a lot more subject matter, you know, things like that. You know, he talks about, you know, him, you know, not, you know, having a low profile, just him talking about his love for a girl, like a love story, you know, things like that, man. He talks about growing up in the hood and, you know, things of that nature. And it's just like his sword just got sharper, you know what I mean? The darts just got so sharp, man. And I fucking love this album, man. And, you know, I rarely hear people talk about this album. I think this album's actually it's, even though it got 5 mics, but it is very underrated, you know what I mean? Because, you know, people always talk about, you know, the first 2 albums, you know, with Paid in Full, you know, Everybody is President, and Follow the Leader, which all the songs are dope. But with this album right here, it's just like, it captures Everybody Rakim in an essence, it's like what it felt most comfortable, in my opinion. And, you know, it just really tells, like, these cats, you know, some, like, real street cats, yo, like, these cats are really about that life, man, like, just hearing the lyrics, man, and stuff like that, man. This album, I don't think is out of print, you know, it shouldn't be too hard to find. You should be able to find it for dumb cheap. You go to FYE or whatever music chain that you have around your area, you should be able to find it. You should get it for like, I seen it go for like $6.99, $5.99. So you should have no excuse not to own this album right here, man. Highly recommend it. If you guys like early 90s Large Professor beats, you know, stuff like that, then you'll definitely enjoy that. And that's another thing too. With Large Professor, he was a busy dude in 1990. I mean, somebody that was still in high school, 17 years old, to produce like some profound albums like Tragedy, Gaddafi's first album, Intelligent Hoodlum, and to do most of the he did the majority of the beats of Coogee Rap's Wanted Dead or Alive, which I need to get my hands on, but very hard to come by, you know what I mean? But, you know, and that's dope, man. And I don't want to hear it, and then just hearing the fact that he was 17 years old when he produced those albums, I don't want to hear no excuse when niggas say like, oh, these young niggas that come out today, you gotta give them some slack. No, fuck that. I don't believe in that, man. Because Lost Professor coming out with to produce a whole album like that, like, come on. And the shit that he was coming out with for a 17-year-old, I mean, Special had to come out with his first album, The Youngest in Charge. He was 16 when he dropped that album. Shaheem, I believe, was 17 when he dropped aka The Rugged Child, which I have to do a review on. I mean, I don't want to hear no excuses, man. But I hope you guys enjoyed that review. Stay tuned for more. Peace.